The mansard roof, the orange plastic booth, the smell of beef tallow hitting a fryer at 365 degrees. None of it was accidental. Every detail of a 1980s fast food restaurant was engineered to feel like magic, not just a meal, but a destination. Then the industry dismantled all of it. Not because it stopped working, but because something more profitable took its place. Pulling off the road in the 1980s, you knew you had arrived before you ever tasted a fry. The mansard roof, bold, low-slung, and trimmed in corporate colors, stood out against the strip mall monotony. These were not just buildings, they were signals, engineered to catch the eye of a family in a station wagon, to promise something bright and different inside. Corporate design manuals spelled out every detail, from the pitch of the roof to the exact hue of orange on the prefab metal panels. Even the shadows cast by the overhang were calculated, framing the restaurant like a stage set. Step inside and the world changed again. Sunlight spilled through glass solariums, those greenhouse-like dining bays that stretched out from the main box, flooding the room with warmth even in the dead of winter. The booths, all molded plastic and vinyl in colors you could not find anywhere else, were built for durability but felt like a kid's idea of luxury. Each $120 booth was cheap enough to replace every few years. A necessity since the ultraviolet light that made the place so inviting also faded the surfaces and cracked the plastic. Manuals called for a full replacement cycle every 3 to 4 years, a hidden cost that only made sense when the dining room was always full. Wood paneling, sometimes real, often just veneer over fiberboard, wrapped the walls in a homey embrace, while hanging plants, mostly fake but no one cared, softened the hard lines. The air buzzed with the sound of families, the scrape of trays, the echo of kids' voices bouncing off tile floors. Designers called it the building as logo, a phrase that meant every part of the architecture, from the roofline to the seating layout, was a piece of the brand itself. The restaurant was not just a place to eat, it was a self-contained world, a promise that this was a destination worth lingering in, not just a stop on the way to somewhere else. But the decor was only part of it. The magic didn't stop at the walls or the sunlight. It hit you in the face the second you opened the door, a wave of beef tallow, salt, and fryer heat so thick you could nearly taste it before you even ordered. In the 1980s, that smell wasn't an accident. Chains like McDonald's, Wendy's, and Burger King all fried their potatoes in beef tallow, a rendered fat that gave fries a flavor and aroma that vegetable oil never could. The chemistry was simple but powerful. Aldehydes and saturated fats created a golden crust and a lingering, savory scent. Industry taste panels in 1987 found that switching to soybean oil would cut flavor intensity by nearly a third. When the change finally happened in 1990, customer satisfaction with fries dropped by more than 20%. People didn't just remember the taste, they noticed its absence. The fries of the 1980s weren't just food, they were a sensory event, engineered to haunt you long after the meal was over. But taste alone didn't make these places a destination. The play place was the real hook. For kids, it was freedom, ball pits, plastic tunnels, and slides that turned a burger run into a full-blown adventure. Parents got a break, kids got to burn off energy, and the restaurant buzzed with the sound of shrieking, laughter, and the thud of sneakers on padded mats. These playgrounds weren't a side feature, they were a calculated investment. Each 1,000 square feet of play zone required up to 1 extra staff member per shift, not to mention the insurance premiums that came with every ball pit and climbing net. But for a while it was worth it. The play place kept families coming back, cemented birthday party rituals, and turned fast food into a miniature escape from ordinary life. Every sense was accounted for: sight, smell, taste, touch, and even the soundscape of kids at play. The magic was deliberate, not accidental. Fast food chains weren't just selling burgers and fries, they were selling an outing, a mood, a world where the ordinary rules didn't quite apply. But as the years went on, the costs of maintaining that sensory playground started to outweigh the rewards. The cost of enchantment crept in line by line, hidden in spreadsheets and code books. The bright glass solariums that once flooded dining rooms with sunlight became a liability when the International Energy Conservation Code capped how much glass could wrap a building. Retrofitting a 500 square foot solarium to meet the 2021 standard could add $15,000 to a remodel before even touching the HVAC bill. Owners saw the numbers and chose drywall over daylight. Outside, the iconic signage, those towering arches and neon pylons, ran into new wind load rules. A single 20-foot sign, to meet ASCE 716 standards, needed a concrete footing, 2 feet deep, steel plates, and anchor bolts every foot. The foundation alone could run $10,000 just to keep a logo standing in a storm. When the next remodel came, most chains switched to flat panels, LED panels bolted to the wall. The skyline grayed out, one sign at a time. Inside, the play place became a magnet for risk. Insurance carriers started treating indoor playgrounds as a separate hazard class. One slip in a ball pit could trigger a $75,000 claim, and the presence of a play zone could double annual premiums overnight. To keep coverage, franchisees had to log every cleaning, inspect every slide, and if they wanted to keep the ball pit, install a commercial ball washing machine that cost as much as a new car. The best models ran $50,000 to $80,000 just to keep the health department satisfied. Most owners did the math and pulled the plug instead. Then came the ADA. A single lawsuit over an inaccessible slide or narrow entryway could force a $15,000 to $30,000 retrofit. For a feature that brought in a few extra birthday parties, the numbers just did not add up. Each new rule, each line item, chipped away at the magic. Not all at once, but relentlessly. The bright, playful spaces that once promised a world apart became too expensive to keep alive. And so, quietly, the enchantment was priced out of reach. In the new era, the dining room shrinks while the order screen grows. The old solarium is gone, replaced by a row of kiosks and a shelf stacked with brown bags, each marked for a different app. Behind the counter, a franchisee runs the numbers. When he converted his play place into a pickup zone, the spreadsheet showed a net gain of $25,000 a year, just by trading a ball pit for a bank of lockers and a few extra seats. Multiply that by 1,000 stores, and you are looking at millions in extra profit system-wide. The insurance premium drops, the labor schedule tightens, and the cash flows faster than ever. The logic is simple. Every square foot that once belonged to kids at play now belongs to throughput. The dining room, once a stage for birthday parties and after-game celebrations, becomes a waiting area for delivery drivers. Orders come in through apps, not through the front door. 75% of sales now start on a phone. The play place, the solarium, the bright booths, none of it pencils out when the real money is in speed and volume. The magic of the outing is replaced by the logic of the queue. But the nostalgia does not disappear. It gets packaged instead. Chains roll out limited edition toys shaped like the old mascots, or cups printed with the logos from 1982. McDonald's changeables make a comeback, but only for a few weeks and only if you order through the app. The retro campaign is a low-cost nod to a world that no longer exists. A collectible cup that costs 30 cents to manufacture, sold for $6 on eBay. The architecture is gone, the playground is gone, but the memory is monetized. The real transformation is not just loss of color or play. It is the end of the fast food restaurant as a third place, a communal living room traded for a fulfillment node. The profit math is clear, and so is what is missing, not just a style, but a kind of public magic, engineered and then quietly erased. Today, fast food is frictionless, but forgettable. An optimized pipeline, not a portal. The magic didn't vanish. It was engineered out by spreadsheets and risk tables. What is really missing is not just play places or bold colors. It is the loss of a cheap public spark where ordinary life could feel extraordinary.